Hey family, welcome back to Imani Invests. Today, we are going to talk about something that might sound like heresy in a world that tells us to always be climbing, always be grinding, and always be reaching for that next rung on the ladder. I want you to picture the most ambitious person you know at your job. You know, the one they say, yes, to every extra project, they volunteer for every stretch assignment, and they've chased every promotion like their life depended on it. On paper, they've won. They have the title, the salary that sounds impressive when they mention it at Thanksgiving, and the respect of their peers. But I want you to look closer. Do they actually seem happy? Not LinkedIn happy with the blessed and grateful caption, but truly, deeply at peace. Because there is a version of that person, maybe it's someone you know, or maybe it's you, who gets home at nearly 8 p.m., eats a cold meal standing over the kitchen sink. Because sitting down feels like too much effort, checks their email one last time under the covers, and lies awake wondering if this is successful. Life is actually the one they wanted to build. Somewhere between the raises and the fancy titles, something very precious quietly left the building today. I want to talk about what that something is. More importantly, I want to talk about the people who saw that trap coming, said, no thank you, to the promotion, and ended up in a completely different place 5 years later. They ended up wealthier, healthier, and in a position of power that is hard to explain to people stuck in the rat race, but makes total sense once you look at the math. I am Imani, and I spend a lot of my time doing the kind of math that your HR department and your boss would prefer you never see. If you've ever felt like you reworking harder every year but somehow staying in the same place financially, stay with me, because we're going to break down exactly why that's happening and how to fix it. Now, let us be clear. I am not telling you to stop caring or to be a slacker. This is about an honest accounting of what a promotion actually gives you versus what it truly costs you. Most people do the salary math and stop there, but the salary is the least interesting part of the equation. Let us look at a common scenario. You get promoted from $80,000 a year to $110,000. That $30,000 raise feels like a massive victory. It feels like validation, but let's see what the taxman thinks about your victory. At $80,000, your combined federal income tax and FICA take away about $14,890, leaving you with roughly $65,110. Now, at $110,000, that tax burden jumps to over $23,000. So your take home is about $86,000. Right off the top, nearly $9,000 of your $30,000 raise went straight to the government before you even smelled it. If you live in a place like New York or California, your state taxes will eat another few thousand. In New York City, your marginal tax rate at that income level is over 41%. That $30,000 raise is now worth maybe $17,500 in actual cash. And we haven't even touched the most dangerous part. Lifestyle inflation. It's almost a biological reflex. We see more money in the account, and our brains interpret it as permission to spend. Research shows the average person spends 65 to 85 cents of every new dollar they earn. The slightly nicer apartment, the newer car, the dinners that used to be for special occasions becoming just a regular Tuesday night. There is a reason why 40% of Americans earning over $100,000, and even 40% of those earning over $500,000, describe themselves as living paycheck to paycheck. A raise without a savings plan is just a bigger bucket with the same hole in the bottom. You upgraded the bucket, but you didn't fix the leak. When you factor in the extra costs of a promotion, the commute, the professional wardrobe, the high-stress healthcare costs, that $30,000 raise might only net you an extra few $1,000s in actual savings per year. You gave them more of your life, and they gave you a title and a slightly better coffee budget. Here is the calculation I want you to start doing, your effective hourly rate. This is the most honest number in your life. Imagine a VP earning $130,000 versus a senior individual contributor who said no to management and stayed at $90,000. The VP sounds like the winner, right? But look at the hours. Research shows that 58% of senior managers work over 51 hours a week. Some CEOs average over 62 hours, including working on vacations. If our VP works 55 hours a week, their hourly rate is about $45. Our individual contributor, working a clean 40 hours, earns about $43 an hour. The gap is just $2.18 per HR. For $2 an hour, the VP is giving away nearly 800 hours of unpaid labor every single year. That's 19 full work weeks for free. The company didn't give you a raise. They bought a massive discount on your life. Think about what you could build with those 20 extra hours every week. Instead of sitting in meetings that could have been emails, you could build something that actually belongs to you. Freelancing, a small consulting practice, or an e-commerce store. The average side hustler earns around $1,000 a month. If you put that extra effort in and generated $2,000 a month and invested it in an index fund like the S&P 500 in 20 years, you'd have $1.375 million. That is the true opportunity cost of those extra 20 hours you re-giving the company for free. The person who kept her 40-hour week and built her own side income isn't just coasting. She's building a legacy that no reorg can take away. Let's look at two brothers to see how this plays out. Blake took every promotion. He's a director now, making $145,000. It's almost 7 p.m. on a Tuesday, and he's still at the office because his boss wants a slide deck by Thursday. He, get home at 8:30, eat a cold meal, and set his alarm for 6:15 a.m. His life is expensive. He has a massive mortgage, 2 luxury car payments, and private school tuition for the kids. He makes great money, but he has almost no savings, only $87,000 in his 401k at age 38. He is trapped. He has golden handcuffs. He can leave because his life costs too much. Now look at Jordan, she said. No? To the last 2 promotions. Her manager thought she was crazy, and her parents were worried. But at 6:15 p.m. on that same Tuesday, Jordan is at home making pasta. She earns $98,000, less than Blake, but she is remote and controls her own time. She's been maxing her 401k for 7 years and has over $200,000 saved. She also has a small consulting practice on the side that brings in an extra $2,400 a month, which she invests. She's not stressed, she travels, and she has options. Blake makes more money, but Jordan is actually wealthier. You have to understand that the promotion system wasn't designed to make you wealthy. It was designed to make the company productive. There's a theory in economics called tournament theory. It treats your office like an elimination tournament where the prize, the VP title or the corner office, is the carrot to make everyone work their hardest. But only a tiny percentage of people ever win the prize. In fact, more companies are now giving dry promotions, a new title with 0 pay increase. Nearly 37% of employers did this last year. They've realized that people value status so much that they will take the title over the money. But you can pay your mortgage with a LinkedIn update. When you build your entire identity around a job title, you become vulnerable. Middle management positions accounted for over 30% of layoffs recently. When a director who has been out of the technical weeds for years gets laid off, they are in trouble. They have a mortgage that requires a high salary and a resume that lists titles instead of actual skills. But when an individual contributor with a side hustle gets laid off, she has sharp skills, lean finances, and options. She has what I call walking away money. Research shows that happiness doesn't keep climbing forever with your salary. Once you hit between $100,000 and $200,000, the extra happiness you get from more money starts to flatline. For some, it even plateaus at $100,000. The single strongest predictor of financial well-being is a 6-figure salary. It's having a small emergency fund of just $2,000. Security, the feeling that one bad week won't destroy you, is worth more than any title. More and more people are realizing this. Over 60% of individual contributors say they would rather stay where they are than move into management. They want time with their family, they want their health, and they want to travel. And here's the kicker. Staying sideways can actually be faster than climbing up. Research shows that people who move laterally across different functions or companies often end up with higher wages than those who stayed on a single vertical track. The ladder isn't the only way up. Sometimes it's just a way to get stuck. I'm not saying never take a promotion. If it comes with real equity, or if it moves you from financial struggle to stability, take it. But if it means giving away 15 extra hours of your life for a dry promotion, or a title that sounds good at parties, run the math. Nobody in your company is going to show you these numbers because they make money when you say yes. The first time you say no to the climb, it feels like you are falling behind. You might feel a little panic, but then the hours you saved start turning into something else. You start funding your own dreams instead of someone else's shareholders. You spend your Sunday nights relaxed instead of anxious. 5 years from now, you'll look at the person who said yes to everything, and you'll see it clearly. Their salary is bigger, but their life is smaller. You chose to build something that actually belongs to you, something no boss can restructure away. Go home at 5 o'clock, invest the difference. Let compound interest do for you what your company never will. This is Imani reminding you that wealth is built by the decisions you make with your time, not just your money. If this math changed your perspective, hit that like button and subscribe to our family. Let me know in the comments. Have you ever said no to a promotion? I want to hear your story. You got this, and I'll see you in the next one.